Hi, and welcome back to Retro Room, and today we're going to be taking a look at Jobriath Boone, the first gay glam rocker. So Bruce Wayne Campbell was born on December 14th, 1946, and was better known by his stage name Jobriath. He was an American rock musician and actor, and he was also the first openly gay rock musician to be signed by a major record label, and one of the first internationally famous musicians to die of AIDS. So there is a fan blog online dedicated to Jobriath Boone, and it is called jobriathspaceclown.tumblr.com, and it is a huge source of information about the musician. Here's some of what it has to say. Widely acclaimed today as the first ever openly and genuinely gay rock star, an iconic status which only seems to harden as time passes, Jobriath can be described among the saddest casualties in modern musical history. The two albums he cut during 73 to 75 are collector's items today, and deservedly so. But for the last 2 decades after their release, their maker's name was more likely to be evoked as an example of the dangers of hype rather than anything else, with the actual quality of both his music and his performance deeply buried beneath the avalanche of scorn which knowing critics still pour on his head. However, both Morrissey and the Pet Shop Boys have talked openly of their admiration for Jobriath. Jane County has described him as America's premier glam rock idol, and Mark Stewart is an unlikely but equally loyal fan. So too are the generation of young glam rock fans who were curious enough to look beyond the record company hype and the music industry hatred to investigate the intriguingly packed, deliciously delivered records which bore the singer's name. Neither has been scarred by time, neither has been overtaken by age. In 1973 to 75, Jobriath records were regarded as a waste of time. Today, they are simply timeless. A veteran of the original Los Angeles run of Hair, Jobriath then relocated to New York, where he recorded one album with progressive rock hopefuls Pigeon. The record went nowhere, and Jobriath split for a solo career, managed by former Jimi Hendrix associate Mike Jeffries. They parted company soon after, and Jobriath soldiered on alone, beating his head against what was rapidly becoming a wall of unmitigated hostility towards his music. One of the most popular of the manifold legends surrounding Jobriath is the reaction which a set of his demos drew from Columbia Records president Clive Davis. Mad and unstructured and destructive to melody. Davis's disdain did not fall on stony ground, however. Indeed, Jerry Brandt, at that time manager of Carly Simon, was so intrigued by Davis's remarks that he immediately set up a meeting with the singer, then signed him to a management deal. His enthusiasm was contagious as well. Elektra Records head Jack Holtzman later confessed, "I made 2 errors of judgment in my days at the label, and signing Jobriath was one of them." Equally incriminating, Jobriath doesn't receive a single mention in Holtzman's official label history, Follow the Sun. At the time, however, Elektra's belief in Jobriath appeared limitless. The label spent over $80,000 on his debut album, with almost half of that sum being poured into promotion. At the height of glam rock, Jobriath was being portrayed as the glammiest artist of them all, and when the inevitable comparisons with David Bowie were floated, Brandt knew precisely how to respond. Jobriath is as different from Bowie as a Lamborghini is from a Model A Ford. They're both cars, it's just a question of taste, style, elegance, and beauty. Full-page ads in Vogue, Penthouse, and the New York Times forwarded such claims into areas that had never previously been courted by the music industry. A 50-foot square billboard in Times Square saw his visage glowering over New York's daily commuters. Posters on the front of London's bus fleet ensured he dominated that city as well. Both Cashbox and Rolling Stone gave the album rave reviews, while an appearance on TV's Midnight Special raised the singer's media profile even higher. Unfortunately, the record simply didn't sell, at home or abroad. Such was the enormity of the hype built around Jobriath. So vast were the promises which his backers were making that when the album finally hit the streets, there was no way it could live up to its billing. No way, in fact, that any record could. As Jack Holtzman later reflected, the music seemed secondary to everything else. It was lacking in any sense of reality. It's an embarrassment. A proposed European concert debuted at the Paris Opera House was cancelled, and though Elektra allowed Jobriath to record a second album, they already seemed to have washed their hands of him. Creatures of the Street received little promotion, poor reviews, and near zero sales. A US tour during the spring of 1975 drew little attention and even less applause. And it was only towards the end of an utterly miserable and apparently drug-crazed venture that Jobriath and his band, The Creatures, finally began winning over audiences. Their last ever performance at Tuscaloosa University ended with 5 encores and a near riot. It was too little, too late. Brandt dropped Jobriath from his roster midway through the outing, and immediately the tour was over and Jobriath announced his retirement. He retreated to the glass pyramid he had erected on the roof of the Chelsea Hotel in New York, where he would remain for the rest of his life. Attempts to record a third album never got beyond the demo stage. There was also talk of a presumably autobiographical rock musical to be titled Popstar. It too never came to fruition, and by the early 80s, Jobriath was working as a singer in a New York cocktail bar. Jobriath also has his own Wikipedia page. Here's some of what that has to say about him and the Chelsea Hotel. In January 1975, Jobriath announced his retirement from the music industry and moved into a pyramid-top rooftop apartment at the Chelsea Hotel in New York City. After unsuccessfully attempting to resume his acting career and being passed over for the role of Al Pacino's lover in Dog Day Afternoon, calling himself Cole Berlin, he worked as a cabaret singer at a restaurant called the Covent Gardens, as well as clubs and cabarets, augmenting his income with occasional prostitution. It is said that he was willing to sing any song except for his own. By the time his 10-year contract with Brandt was finally up, Jobriath was sick with AIDS. He began to feel ill in late 1981, but still managed to contribute to the Chelsea Hotel's 100th birthday celebrations in November of 1982. On August 4th of 1983, 1 week after the end of his original 10-year contract with Jerry Brandt expired, Jobriath died, becoming one of the first famous musicians to die of the disease. On his legacy, in November of 2004, longtime fan Morrissey oversaw Jobriath's first CD re-release, a compilation called Lonely Planet Boy. It was produced by Eddie Kramer. Morrissey had previously attempted to secure Jobriath as a support act for the tour in support of his Your Arsenal album, having been unaware that the singer had died some years previously. Both Jobriath's original studio albums were officially released on CD in Japan in late 2007. Remastered and issued in mini vinyl replica sleeves, they were released in the US in standard jewel box packaging in 2008 by Collector's Choice Music. The group Balcony released a semi-tribute track entitled Jobriath as a free MP3 anonymously on the internet in 2000. That was later included on their second album, Before Needs. He is referenced using his legal name by the indie folk band O'Kerville River on the final song of their 2008 album, The Stand-Ins. Def Leppard released a cover of Heartbeat on some versions of their 2006 album, Yeah. Morning Starship was sampled by hip-hop artist Ill Bill on the title track of his 2007 mixtape album, Black Metal. Filmmaker Kieran Turner of 24 Nights has created a feature documentary about the late singer called Jobriath A.D. Anne Magnuson is working on an EP featuring 4 Jobriath songs and a spoken word narrative. On October 29, 2013, Echatone Records released 3 1971 Jobriath tracks digitally and on 10-inch vinyl as the EP Amazing Dope Tales. And then on May 6, 2014, they released the full-length As the River Flows album of never-before-released Jobriath recordings from 1971 to 72 on CD, limited edition vinyl, and in digital formats. Jobriath has 5 studio albums, including 1969's Pigeon, 1973's Jobriath, 1974's Creatures of the Street, 2014 As the River Flows, and 2015 Popstar, The Lost Musical. Jobriath is also interviewed and briefly appears in the BBC Arena documentary Chelsea Hotel. I will put a link below for part 4 of this documentary uploaded by the YouTube channel Dermot O'Brien. This is the part of the documentary where Jobriath is interviewed in his pyramid home on top of the Chelsea. His section starts about a minute and a half into the video, and it's definitely worth a watch. So there is a lot more information available on Jobriath Boone, both on YouTube and on Google. All you have to do is a quick search and literally pages of information will come up. This video was requested by John, so John, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it lived up to your expectations. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the kitty. It would really help me out, and I will see you guys again for my next upload.